everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you a combination challenge. This is my day 17 Art Journal Habit 2019 prompt talk art journal page, and I'm also adding to it the artist trading card challenge from the Pick a Stick challenge. You know, I have two different groups. One of them is an art community that has random stuff all through the year. We have a mood board, we have this challenge, we have an ATC, a day challenge, we have all different things throughout the year. That's the Art Joy of Sharing community, and that also supports a live streaming channel, which is Art Joy of Sharing live streaming. And then in addition to that, there is a Pick a Stick challenge Facebook group, which I've had for, I think this is the 5th year maybe, and it has monthly challenges, an artist trading card, an art journal page, and a altered tag. And I've already done the art journal page at the very beginning of the month. I think it was the first day of this challenge. The art journal page got done. And then this is the artist trading card. So the color was slate, and that's kind of a blue gray. And I found a manila tag that had that color on it, kind of that sort of grungy paint on it from a gel printing session at some point. Sometimes I use those tags to clean up the plate and pick up all the crusty bits. So I cut it down to artist trading card size, which is 3.5 inches by 2.5 inches. That's the same size as a baseball card or a Yu-Gi-Oh card or a Pokemon card. It's like just a little trading card. And the first prompt was curve, so I used a plastic container and some graphite because graphite's gray, slate's kind of a gray, and I made some curved lines and then I blended one side of them to make them dimensional using a water brush. Then I decided to add some rub-ons that I had that I wanted to get rid of, and they kind of had that grungy look too, and so I added those before sealing it with some fluid matte medium and a brayer because that graphite is really water reactive. So I don't know what I'm going to put on top of this, more layers, whatever. I just wanted to make sure it was all sealed, so I did that before moving on. The next prompt was polyfilla or molding paste, which is the same thing. It's like a joint compound type stuff, and it's fun to make texture with it by putting it through a stencil. So this is a Stencil Girl 4x4 stencil of a meditation maze. I like circular shapes, that's why I picked that one. I just like them. So I put the molding paste through it, dried it with a heat tool, and then I know that there's some green on the page that I'm going to put this on because I'm going to end up adding this artist trading card to my page. In fact, it's kicking off my page. So I knew that the page that I picked had some green on it, so I dripped a little bit of green paint through that textured area, and just to give it some color and to add some color that will match the page. I'd also put the same design with the molding paste on the page as well to kind of get everything to coordinate together. And then I used some Inca Gold waxed pigment and just kind of put a little bit of that on there too. The page has some brown lines through it, and I thought that that kind of bronzy metallic color would look interesting with the page. So then the last prompt for this artist trading card challenge is conventional. And that was, of course, referring to conventional art versus abstract art versus modernism, all that type of stuff. But I just thought I can just use the word conventional. So I got out some different letter stickers and cardboard punch out letters and things like that to use. And what I really wanted it to say was unconventional. So I used the U and the N larger letters. They're probably, I don't know, an inch and a half, maybe an inch and a quarter. They're pretty large. And they're actually dark brown. They look black in the video, I know, but they're dark brown color. And I put those on, and then I mix and matched some stickers, some punched out letters from a die cut machine to then spell the word conventional in a very unconventional way, not making it straight, not making it the same. Nothing is lining up together, just kind of, you can tell that it's a word, you can read it, but it's not a straight across conventional way of putting it. But it is meeting the prompt because it's the word conventional. So that's how you do these prompt challenges. You just come up with something that goes along with it. Maybe it's an action, maybe it's a quote, maybe it's a picture, maybe it's just using the word itself somehow on your project. So these little stickers are cheap, little cheapy stickers I got from I think Tuesday Morning probably, and they were in a pack together, but they don't all match each other. Some of them are blocky letters, some of them are cursive letters, and then of course I've got the ones that have been die cut. I just have this little tray, not tray, little dish, because this particular die cut has all the alphabet and numbers on it. So when you run it through, you're getting everything, even though you probably only needed a few letters. So I just keep them in a container on my desk. I do need to clean off my desk, but um, yeah, it's a mess. So is the floor. It's crazy in there. It's just a disaster. I'm constantly working in there. I never have time to clean anything up or organize or put things away. I know I've told you guys this before, but it's crazy. So, yeah, the final thing I put on is it's a chipboard die cut piece that is like a little arrow. I just wanted to fill in that space that I left with something interesting. And then I decided that the punched out die cut letters were not dark enough. The paper was kind of light colored. So I went over them with a black Posca pen just to darken them up. They were having a little bit of trouble showing up in the background. Then I used a white Posca pen to draw some sketchy lines to highlight some of the other letters. And then just to make everything stand out a little bit more, I put some dimensional adhesive on there. It makes it shiny and like raised. It's self-leveling and it dries shiny, so then it makes it look like it's got plastic over the top of it or something. And I put that on all the letters and the little arrow thing. And then my ATC was done using all the prompts. Now I've got to get this ATC to go with my prompt for today, which is talk. And that will be for my other challenge, Art Journal Habit 2019. So I'm going to use the rest of this leftover bit of rub-ons and put some of these symbols and letters and numbers on my background, which I had used on the ATC to kind of bring it together. Also, this uses up this sheet and I'm tired of looking at it. So, you know, it's good to just be done with it. Also, symbols and letters and numbers are ways to communicate. And this page is about communicating and how we communicate today. And, the whole theme is talk. I got things to say about that. We don't talk as much as we used to anymore. Everything is shared digitally, and we're always looking at our screens. We're looking at our computer, our phone, our iPad, our tablets, whatever. We don't really talk as much, and it's an interesting shift in society to see that. If you were a communication specialist or someone who studies human behavior and mob mentality, this would be very interesting. I listened to a talk from what kind of person was she? She wasn't an archaeologist, but it was sociologist, maybe? I think sociologist, yeah. I think that's what she was. But she was talking about the changes that are being studied worldwide with our ability to communicate so well across the world, but yet our inability to communicate with each other in a meaningful and personal way. And of course, there's been elections recently here. There's been voting, and of all this, all the political stuff is on TV, and you can't get away from it. It's on your phone, and that was the other thing I wanted to comment about was just in order to be heard these days, you've got two options. You can post everything on social media constantly and just blast everybody with everything on social media, or you have to scream. You have to yell. You have to make a scene in order to be heard to communicate. And I think that's kind of weird and sad and strange. So I'm drawing a little illustration of a person who's at a rally about something. I don't even know what she's saying because I can't hear it because she's an illustration. That's why. But there has been a lot of social unrest. A lot of people have a lot of things to say about a lot of things, and the way that they do that is to yell. And for me, someone who's a little bit introverted, a little bit, that's not the way to communicate with me. I don't listen when someone yells. So, yeah, that's what this page is talking about. It's talking about talk and how we communicate. And so my illustration, I did add some more green and some purple. This little ATC had a tiny bit of purple stuff on the bottom of it, and there wasn't anything like that, no purple at all on the page, the gel printed page that I'm putting it on. So I dripped a little bit of dioxazine purple, watery, through those the modeling paste areas, and then also some of that green just to make sure that the ATC blends into the page and doesn't seem like it shouldn't be there or that it's a separate something. I want it to seem like it's part of the page, which I think I achieved. So I drew my illustration on mixed media paper. It's a little bit heavier than thin paper. And then once I was fairly happy with the drawing, as happy as I can be, I still don't feel that I have drawing skills that I want, but then I used some Faber-Castell pens because they're made out of India ink, so when they're dry, they're permanent. So I know I'm going to use water media to color this. I want to make sure that I have some permanent illustration lines on there. And so I went over with a couple different size bullet tips, a medium, and then I think I used the small, not the extra small, to do the finer details. It's a simple drawing, nothing too fancy, just a person yelling through a megaphone. And then to color it, I'm going to use my Neocolor 2 water-soluble crayons. But as I'm doing that, and I'm going to use a water brush, but as I'm doing that, I put a little bit of matte fluid medium, the liquid kind, on my palette, and I pick it up with my water brush. So the brush has water on it, but it's also got this fluid matte medium, which then helps seal in the Neocolor as I'm coloring, because that's a water soluble medium. I know I'm going to glue this on the page. I don't want it to get messed up. So I make sure that I mix in a little bit of that fluid matte medium. And it doesn't do anything to the brush. If you let it dry on there, it would ruin the brush, but the brush has water in the handle, so you just squeeze it onto your towel until it's got everything that you put on it off. And that makes these types of brushes very handy. Something that I just cannot live without anymore is these brushes. So, love them. I use other brushes, but these seem to be what I grab for most commonly for pretty much everything that I do. So I put light coats of color on there, then I bring in more color to add shadows and just more coloring and make it darker. When you're using a water soluble media, it sometimes comes out kind of light on mixed media paper. It soaks in and you have to put several layers on, but I was planning on it anyway, so it wasn't a problem. Just got to get my little person colored, and I make her tank top blue to match the background because there's blue in the background. I could have made it black, and that might have been better because it would have maybe balanced a little bit more. The right side's got pretty heavy black or dark color, and the other side doesn't have as much, so it would have maybe been a little bit more balanced to make her shirt slightly darker, or make her hair black. I could have made her a person of color, or someone has really dark hair. Although there are pale people who have dark hair, but I don't see them very often. It seems to be that the paler you are, the paler your hair is. I don't know why that is. So just continuing to color. This little bit of reddish orange in the middle of the page is kind of weird, but it does make that megaphone stand out from everything else because it's a warm color amidst a sea of cool color. And so once the page is finished, the megaphone stands out quite a bit as you look at the composition as a whole. I'm not sure that that's what I intended. I just think most of the time megaphones are red. I just think that. Is that true? I don't even know. Really, I've never owned one, but it just seemed to me like it should be red, okay? It's red. So then I glue everything together. I decide to use Aleene's tacky glue to glue down my letters and the card to the page, the ATC card, because there's that molding paste on there. There's lots of stuff on the ATC that I'm afraid is going to make it heavy. So instead of using a matte medium or something, I go ahead and use actual glue to glue everything down. But the illustration I do with my matte medium. So Liquitex matte gel medium, glue that down to the page. You see how nothing is smearing. That's because I used the fluid matte medium when I was using the Neo color to make it more permanent. Otherwise that stuff would smear. So my final touch is to put Stabilo All black pencil around the entire illustration and blend it with the water brush to make it kind of blend into the background, stand out, but yet also blend to make it cohesive with the page. So that is it for day 17 talk. And we're on the downside now, past 15. So I will see you again tomorrow. If you like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment or a question. I will answer it, I promise. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you are subscribed and you're not getting a notification every single day for a video this month, then you don't have your bells turned on. So turn on your bell. And you can pin this on Pinterest. I love it when I see something that is mine on Pinterest. It comes across my feed. I'm like, yes, I do a little dance. So that's always awesome. And of course, you can still do this challenge along with us, and you can join Art Joy of Sharing Art Community. That's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.